like there's a difference in, you know, for loading. It sounds like both work in the system that we adopted. And so I'm just trying to save money here. There might be, I mean, I already have a cart, so I don't need another cart. And so is there a way to before we purchase the carts, to find out, maybe half of our residents don't need a cart and we don't need to spend that much money?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. One of our struggles, though, ultimately, is to determine who has a card and who does not. You know, typically we don't get a real good response rate from residents when we ask those kind of questions. And, you know, if you were to drive around on collection day, you'll see the cards, but you might not, you don't know who's on vacation, who's gone. And, you know.
I'm just thinking the first thing to do is establish a policy, which is, you know, for your communication, which is if you already have a cart, you will not be receiving a second one. And if you don't have a cart, you know, let us know and we'll be delivering it. But anyways, I feel like that we're double carting up, and if we can stockpile them, and if that's beneficial, then I'm okay with that too. I mean, beyond replacing people that had bins, I didn't think we were ordering that many and spending that much funds.
Well, yeah, like I said, though, one of the issues we have is that we have multiple brands and types of carts out there. Not everybody has a green card with a yellow lid. Many of them were purchased very early on from multiple vendors. And we do get a lot of misrecycling calls, complaints, if you will, because Waste Management, when they go around down the street, and they're looking for a recycling cart. And we have refuse carts, we have compost carts, we have recycling carts, like just the, so there's a lot of carts out there. You know, my perfect world, I would like to have everything standardized, and that's one of the reasons we would like to do this.
It was my impression, I did speak to Leanne Bushwick about this last week, and I had the same thought that you were talking about, Trustee Menta, in the house that I used to live in when I had carts and stuff. We had a turnable compost bin, we had a recycling cart, we had a regular trash cart, and we had another cart for yard waste. And I will say that our recycling cart was not the one with the yellow top on it. And when I talked to Leanne about this, I was under the impression that we prefer the 4100, you know, replacing all of them, so we have a standardized type of cart, and that we would be taking back carts from people that didn't want the extra, an extra one, and the ones that were in decent shape we would hold on to, and then we would get rid of the ones that were not in decent shape. And that appeared to be what the approach was that DPW was taking on this.
So then, following that, if you're currently using a blue bin, you're going to get a new cart. If you're currently using a cart, you're going to get a new cart. And if you want 2 carts, you're set. If you don't want 2 carts, the village is going to pick up your old cart.
And if you want 2, you own one of them
And
yourself.
we already bought one of them,
Purchased it,
sorry.
and the
But
other
then
one's
it's not
belongs to the
standard
village.
anymore. I'm just saying.
The second cart
is.
is.
So that's why I asked the question. To accomplish what DPW wants, we need to collect all the blue cards, because otherwise, we don't need to be replacing them, the ones that they have. So, you know, if they say, oh, I want 2 cards, okay, now they have a green with a yellow lid, and now they have their old one that Waste Management doesn't recognize, and we haven't done anything to standardize the system.
I would think that in the course of everything working through, we can figure out who's got, because my recycling cart is green with a yellow top.
I mean, I think it would just take
So,
like a
and I
pen.
think there'll be enough to
The next cart, the recycling route, you just mark down the ones that aren't standardized. I mean, it wouldn't take, it's just one more cycle. There are methods of collection anyways, I just wanted to make that point, that if we're not collecting all the blue cards, then we don't need to be replacing all the blue cards, because people might be utilizing them, we're saving them to utilize.
But you're talking about the blue bins?
No, the cards, the actual cards.
Like old recycling.
The old recycling.
The ones that were purchased are gonna be, they're still
Oh, sure.
$65 ones, yeah, they're still, unless you bought some on.
Mine's green now.
The other thing is cardboard's gonna need to be in the carts, which if you drive down, some folks got lots of cardboard, and they're gonna need room to,
I can't wait to have 2 cars.
so, I think we're, it'd be good.
We could do a data question, just
It's
in a
what
site,
life
like,
is
just
called.
have someone write down, mark 3 columns, and then just mark, the color them in as, or.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Call the question. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Thank you. Next item also for you, trustee Maher, phase 1 and phase 2 police department
Yes,
report.
we've already asked for the police chief to come before us and provide us an update on where we ended up on phase 1 remodeling and the projection of phase 2.
All right, nice. I also have Riley Construction here, Ben Casa, Eric Dillon, and John Savinish in the corner over there from Zimmerman Architects. So we talked about a little bit about the phase 2 when we get to that point. In your packet, I put a couple of documents that we've gone over in the past. There was a couple questions about phase 1 project, and if you remember on December 5th of 2016, our group was here presenting, and if you look at that PowerPoint that we presented back then, it will show you the master plan that we presented, and then the phase 1 plan that we felt that we could do for the $1 million budget that we had. And then next slide was the second and third phase plans. And that's the discussion where the community room was a little bit smaller than liked. We revamped that, and you'll see in your packet the new master plan, which is very similar to this master plan, except for the community room is much bigger. And some rooms got shuffled around in order to keep the budget down. That was on December 5th. Also on that December 5th meeting, we also presented a budget update. And in that, we did discuss about delaying the construction to the fall of 2017, and then borrowing more and completing that project in 2018. Similar to what we're doing now, unfortunately, obviously we did the construction first, and now we're looking at doing the rest of that. In addition, on that meeting, we discussed that this original second and third phase was not supposed to be done until 2020, and it got pushed up to 2018, which is good, but obviously put us behind the Powerball on trying to get everything together for next year. And I thank these guys for helping me out to try to get numbers put together on that project. We can talk about that a little bit more, but that was also in your packet. And
Was this the board, December, I'm sorry, 5th?
December 5th, 2016.
So we should be looking at the second plans with the blue and the green and
Yeah, we'll get
purple.
that.
That's what we should be
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at.
right now.
What you're talking about is, I just want to be sure what we
Yeah.
should be.
I was talking about the PowerPoint that we gave to you on December 5th.
Okay, so
That
that's,
laid out the first phase and what that looked like for $1 million
we're
bucks.
still up there.
Yep, still up there.
All right.
So we went over that, and in that we thought, we did talk about trying to do the project kind of all in one. We thought we could save some money doing that, and the direction that we got to the board was your budget is your budget at 3.5, which left us with $1 million for phase 1. So we presented you on that meeting what the phase 1 was going to look like for us. And then March 20th, we came back to the board to approve award the bids and presented you with the budget. And that is also in your packet.
Chief, I'm sorry.
Yep.
The November one, it's November 16th.
Yep, that was in the December 5th.
That's in the
Yep.
December 5th.
Yeah. So then we get to the document that you're talking about, trustee Amenta, which is the color-coded one that you have in your packet. I do have a couple bigger ones for, I meant to print out more, but here's a couple bigger ones.
Yeah. PowerPoint, Peter, do you have a PowerPoint?
No,
I do. That's
For later.
yes.
so the blue, the light blue is.
Which one is it, so I can
Yep, I'm sorry.
get that? Okay, you got the purple and the lower left.
Yeah. So, the-
Page 53.
Let's see page numbers. Go ahead.
okay. The light blue is what we completed in phase 1. The light green is what we're proposing for phase 2. And the purple is the community room phase 3. One of the things, after we talked, and we kind of went through the budget, and I know there was some discussion about what the community room was going to be. There were some other discussions of other entities probably going in there. One of my, as I was thinking about this, one of my suggestions may be that if we're not sure what we're going to do with the community room, and we think there may be something that's going to require plumbing and bathrooms and such, I don't think it's such a good idea to go ahead and do the garage right away. Because whatever we end up doing in the community room might have to go through that to get wastewater out, to get water in, and we're going to be tearing up what we just put in. And so one of the things, I know that, we talked about this, and we, like I said, this was supposed to be done in 2020. We moved it up, which is fine, which is great, which I appreciate. But maybe if we push the brakes on this a little bit and figure out what we really want to do with that room, then we could use whatever funds that you want to allow us to finish off the office space of the police department, which would be, you look at that, the investigations office, the interview rooms, the evidence staging and evidence storage, a roll call room, and a storage room.
So we would call that phase 2A.
You call it what you want. But if you look at the budget that Riley and Zimmerman put together on the last page of the materials provided, we believe certainly that we can get that done for the $875,000. It could be less if we don't do any of the garage, which, we talked about this over and over again about the garage. There's just some unknown factors with the garage as far as, making cuts into the cement, trying to get to drain properly, those types of things. And then if we hold off on that, in my view, we can figure out what we're going to do with the community room. I know there's some other entities in there that are interested, one being the health department, and those types of things. But I will tell you, if we do, my view is if we do the garage, it's going to be awfully difficult to, whatever we do, I think in that phase 3 is going to cut into what we just did. So if from a operational perspective, we could finish off the office space, because if you look at that purple section in the bottom left corner, if it's on the top for you, my detectives are in this little room down here. It was an existing room that we used, which is nice, it's fine, but if we could move those guys into the original, or into the finished area, as well as we're using this portion right here of the plan for our existing evidence collection and storage, which is an unfinished open warehouse. So if we could finish the evidence storage and the evidence workup room, which is where we should have a hood for testing narcotics, for testing things, especially with the opiate problems that we're having, carfentanil. We should have some type of fan and stuff in there to do that. That would finish that area up and get those areas out of the unfinished, put them into the finished. We would be operationally sound, and then we can press pause, as I'd like to say, and figure out what we're gonna do in the garage space. Because once we start opening up in that garage and getting in there, I think they'll tell you it's gonna be, whatever we do is gonna really limit this phase two. So that would be my feeling, sense, suggestion, and give us an opportunity